What the hell is up, you fucking cunts? This is episode 7. This is the 8th episode of Resident Bummer in existence. Side note here, 7 is my favorite number. You might be wondering who I am and why my number? No, why my favorite number? God damn. It's like the fucking 10th, 15th word into the podcast. I'm already fucking it up. Not good. But yeah, I'm Fulcrum. I'm back. And weird little side note, in last week's little intro-outro guideline, I misspelled Fulcrum, and I accidentally put Fulcrum. So, Fulcrum is not back. It's Fulcrum, you guys. I don't think I mispronounced it, so that's good. But, moving on, back to the number 7. 7's also a lucky number, so I guess that means this should be a lucky episode of the podcast. Or not. Probably not, because this is actually also the first episode of the podcast where Fulcrum is sitting down in a chair. So you might be hearing a bunch of squeaky chair noises. Sorry about that. Next up, I just gotta say it right now. I feel sapped. Kind of like a spent whore on a Tuesday. Mondays you're definitely expecting a Monday to suck, but man, when a Tuesday hits, it hits hard. This week, doing another very light intro, outro, guideline that I typed up, so might be terrible. Hopefully it is. That would be pretty on brand. Next up, looks like I'm struggling to remember what happened in this week, so I don't really know if it's boring or not. That was my phone buzzing because I received a text message from my dad. That's pretty cool. I do remember last week's podcast though, so I have a little note I want to put in here. There was kind of some funky editing that I'm sure nobody noticed because nobody's listening, but there was a little section I was talking about Hugo or Hurley, and I just muted the audio on some of that bit there. I just fucked up, said something I shouldn't have, and by chance I caught it. I also forgot to put my phone into Do Not Disturb, so I just did that really quickly. We'll not have any more interruptions. Nice. Yeah, I feel like it's better to admit that I fucked up and just did some lazy editing to correct it. You caught me, or I caught myself, I guess, but with that said, I'll go ahead and start reading this week's entries. I don't think there's any other housekeeping bits to catch up on. On Friday, March 7th, my first entry here is at 12:40 a.m. After recording, I work on my interview documents and I post some Resident Bummer ads on iFunny. Oh my gosh, that's terrible that I just admitted that, but oh well, I said it out loud and I don't think I'm going to be going back and muting that audio, so have fun learning that Fulcrum uses iFunny. Moving on, episode 7 and 8 of Mad Men I watch. I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty good. I think maybe like episode 10, they start throwing in some stuff where you're like, oh wow, this is evolving in a way I didn't expect it to, but I'm definitely liking Mad Men so far. Next entry is at 3:35 a.m. I stretch while listening to the Morning Somewhere podcast. Shout out again to the Morning Somewhere podcast, but go listen to that if you want a real podcast to listen to. But I do some leg stretches while I'm in bed. I'm just trying to get it a little more flexible, I guess, while I'm working out my arms and my core. Because why not? I'm not doing anything else while I'm listening to the podcasts. Then I go to sleep, Next up at 11:20 a.m., I put on a goofy suit jacket and suit pants for my interview, even though my webcam did not show my pants. I put them on anyways. I feel like it would be disingenuous to show up in my boxers, just in case. I take the jacket off. Definitely looks very silly, but I'm just wearing a nice button-up white collared shirt, so I feel like I look decent for the interview, the virtual interview. At 1:20 p.m., I shovel my way through the interview, and then I start editing the podcast afterwards. As I'm listening to the podcast, I realize that at some point during that episode 6 recording, I say the word eclectic, but I don't necessarily pronounce it how I just pronounced it. If you want to go back and listen to how I pronounced it the first time, you're more than welcome to, but you're going to have to figure out where it is in that episode I say it, and then you're going to have to figure out why I say it like that, because I'm still trying to figure that out myself. I can't lie. Moving on to the next entry, at 9:40 p.m., I watch an episode of Mad Men while working on my arms. Then I shower and change for Mickey 17. Going to see Mickey 17 with Hugo or Hurley. There was another coworker that was supposed to come with us, but he didn't come, so I'm not even going to try and cook up a name for him right now. Unnamed ex-coworker, I should say. He quit, I think, a year or two ago. Moving on to the next entry at 10:15 p.m. The movie was, it was like an 8 out of 10. I'm not going to lie, I liked it. Hugo or Hurley, was a fucking nuisance, like always, during the movie. Just whenever it was the quietest part of the movie, he would lean over and be like, "What do you think of the movie so far?" But, everybody near us could hear him. He was speaking, like, super loud, not gonna lie. I leaned away from the mic there. Sorry if the audio sucks ass. It always does, so I'm sure it does right now, even. After the movie, I drop Hugo or Hurley back off at his place. And next entry is at 1:25 a.m. I realize I gotta jerk off for a month. More, if I feel like it. Every day, I should say. At least once a day for a month. Because I did that whole, I think February 2nd to March 3rd. I just did not come at all. And now I'm gonna do it at least once a day. I'm gonna start whispering here because I realize I'm talking pretty loud. I think some people are still awake, maybe. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and come at least once a day, but, I don't even know why. Sometimes I don't feel like it. I just, for the sake of the experiment, sometimes I'll just go like 2 or 3 times in a day. I feel like I'm back in high school again, I'm not gonna lie. Hasn't been this way for a while. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but we're managing, man. Yeah, after that, after I jerk off, I stretch my legs some more before I go to bed. And moving on to the next day, which is Saturday, March 8th. Our first entry here is at 11 a.m. I wake up and I have no idea what I want to do today. I could maybe read a chapter of Harvest to start out. Next entry is at 12 p.m. I finish the chapter and then I prepare to stretch for core day. Fuck, I'm not happy. I don't want to do it, but gotta. Also, I just smacked my chair, so that was the first chair audio, I'm assuming. Next up here is at 7:40 p.m. I do some core for like 30 minutes, and then I just tell it to fuck off and die, honestly. I'm not a fan. I shower and stream some BioShock 2 while talking a bunch in a Discord chat I'm in about aliens and how a potential first contact with alien life would go for humanity, which is interesting because that's kind of what Contact Harvest is all about. Afterwards, I stopped streaming, and out of the blue, I'm hit up by Daniel, and simultaneously hit up by Desmond to play separate games. I think Daniel wanted to play Destiny 2 and Desmond wanted to play Resident Evil 6. Yeah, that sounds right. It's so unfortunate. It was like within, I think, 10 or 15 minutes of each other. They both hit me up. It really sucks when that happens. But I screenshotted the chats, and so I had the receipts to prove it to each of them. Next up entry here is at 10:15 p.m. I start adding to a little Discord server I created. I think I created it on like February 2nd, 3rd, 4th, something like that. But I'm just writing a bunch of random shit down in there just to try and keep some stupid stuff I think of a little more organized, I guess. Next up, I play Resident Evil 6 with Desmond until we find a save point, and then afterwards I play some Destiny 2 with Daniel until we finish the cube in the, I can't remember the name of the dungeon. Sorry, Destiny 2 players, but there's a dungeon like Tranquility, or it's the free dungeon that every player has access to. That should let you know. It's the one narrated by Zer, and it's all about like the 9, I believe. Has to do with the 9 and taking enemies all throughout it. That's all I can remember about it. I'm not sure. I haven't played Destiny consistently in like a year and a half, maybe. Sorry about that, Bungie fans. Man, I'm a Halo fan, but Destiny doesn't cut it anymore. It used to. Afterwards, I make some chicken. I don't know if it's chicken sandwiches or chicken nuggets, but I make it before I start watching a movie called Eyes Wide Shut. I don't know if you've heard of it. Directed by Stanley Kubrick. Very weird. At midnight. I don't know. I feel like I should start whispering. It sounds like someone's walking around outside my door, but oh well, fuck it. We'll go for it. Next entry here is at 12 a.m. The movie buffers like crazy, so I text my dad, tell him that the Wi-Fi is fucking flickering like crazy and busting me off and shit. But I eventually am able to finish the movie while I add a few things to my Discord server here and there. You know, not too often, but I'll look down at my phone. Sue me. The movie was like 6.835 out of 10. Not the best movie I've ever seen, but not the worst. Could have definitely been worse. Afterwards, I message a character that we are going to be calling Alex. This is one of Jack's friends, I think Jack's roommate, and I message her, the feminine use of Alex there. It's also not her real name, so whoa. I text her, whatever, on Instagram, and I ask her to draw a piece of art. Goddamn, let me restart that, sorry. I ask her to draw a piece of artwork that I have commissioned. Yeah, because Jack mentioned that she is an artist and gave me a link to her Instagram, and I went and checked it out, and I was like, hey, she's Jack's friend, so I'll support her business. Why not? Sounds like a fun time. Afterwards, at 3 a.m., put in a new entry in the journal. I lost an hour from daylight savings time. That was crazy. It always sneaks up on me. Seems to, at least. And that is the last entry, because I realized that I had to get to bed. Moving on to Sunday, March 9th, set 7, day 3. At 11:40 a.m., I wake up to some chats from both Alex and Jack I have to cook up a quick response to them while I am running around at work. It sucks, but I do find time while I'm on my break. Next entry here at 1:25 p.m. I change for work, clock in, shoot Alex my commission information while on my break. And then at 3:20 p.m., I think I'm a regulation comment leaver now. If you listen to the regulation podcast, you might know what that means. It was actually technically, I think, on a fuckface episode of the regulation podcast, but that's a different story. But the reason is I don't know if I am now or not, but a while ago, I think maybe January of 2024, I sent one of the hosts of that podcast an Xbox message, and I was asking him, seeing if I could find a cheaper place to buy Left 4 Dead 2 for the Xbox 360. I needed a physical copy because it's not available digitally, unfortunately. But the next entry here is at 6:10 p.m. I clock out and go home. Then I chat a bunch in Discord while fleshing my server out. That little server I was talking about earlier. While I pretend to stream Bioshock 2, of course, until I get really, really drunk and join Jack and one of his friends on Discord that he typically watches movies with. And man, it's really fun. I had a blast, I can't lie. I used to do it, I think it's like, honestly, at this point, 7, 8, 9 months ago, something like that. But yeah, I absolutely enjoy my time with both of them. After this, I go to bed pretty dang early and very, very, very drunk. I drank quite a bit, quite a little bit too quickly, but after this, this is the final entry. Moving on to Monday, March 10th, set 7 day 4 at 3 o'clock p.m. This is the first entry of the day, but of course I didn't wake up at 3 p.m., thankfully. I wake up with a hangover and puke just a bunch of times. And halfway through my shower, I'm puking during the shower, but I find like 5 minutes to hop out of the shower and call my place of work, and I'm like, hey, I woke up and I started throwing up, so I might not be able to make it into work. And then, after the phone call, I get back into the shower, puke a shit ton more, and then my mom knocks on the door after, I'm definitely over an hour in that shower. No, that rhymed. Pretty cool. After an hour, she knocks on the door and she's like, "You've been in that shower for a fucking hour, dude. Get out." I was like, "Okay, sorry." And I went, because I was throwing up. But after that, I go back into my bed, puke into my trash can a bit, because I don't want to do it in the shower or the sink. And then I lay back down in my bed and try to get some rest. Doesn't really work. I feel pretty uncomfortable, but I stop throwing up eventually, which is nice. Next entry is at 4:35 p.m. I waste some more time adding to the server, my Discord server that I'm fleshing out. And then I realize I should start working out my arms while watching Mad Men very soon. I have to before I start Resident Evil 6 with Desmond, because he hits me up on Snapchat and makes plans with me. Mad Men buffers like porn in the early noughties. Little side note here. We've got this 1970s, 80s, 90s, and then obviously following that we have the noughties, in case you were uninformed. Moving on, I decide to swap over to Oz, TV show Oz, if you've ever heard of it, while working my arms out. There's no buffering, but I am getting buffer. Get it? Hey now. 6:50 p.m. is my next entry. I put some chicken sandwiches in my air fryer and stream some Bioshock 2 while they cook. Yeah, I'm not really streaming. I'm just kind of on my phone dicking around, like always. Afterwards, I eat and start some Resident Evil 6 with Desmond and swap to Black Ops 6 Gunfight with him before we both hop off of the game and go our separate ways for the night. Moving on at 10:50 p.m. is the next entry. I start up Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. I think that's the name of the movie. But after like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, wait, this is not the movie I wanted to watch. I actually wanted to watch Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage, I believe. Came out in 1998, which is like 23 years prior to Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. Yeah, not the right movie. Yeah, Snake Eyes buffers a bunch. The 1998 one just buffers a bunch. But I'm able to finish it by 1:25 a.m. And my review is that it is pretty schlocky, but I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of the best level of schlocky. I would give it something like a 7.6 or a 7.7 maybe. After this, I waste some more time on Discord in my server, typing away. But, yeah, I go to bed after that. And that's the long and short of it for March 10th, which is a Monday. Moving on to Tuesday, March 11th. Set 7, day 5, at 11:25 a.m. My manager, Richard, asks if I want to make up my shift because I called in sick. And I was like, hell yes, I would love to get some more money. And when I clock in, the oven is being repaired, so I'm actually not able to clock in because I'm not even scheduled, technically. So he manually clocks me in himself, and then we both go up to take a field trip over to the main location that we both work like a minute's walk away from. And we bring a pizza up there with us because we need to cook it. But we can't use our oven because our oven is being repaired. So, hence the field trip at 9:40 p.m. Quite a late entry, I'm not going to lie, compared to the last one. But I head back and wait for Hugo or Hurley to clock into work. After Richard clocks out, I text and ask if he ever needs a +1 to hit up the clubs or the bars around town. I skip them all for the day and check the temp agency email to see if I've received any update on whether or not I have been selected for the position. No deal. Not gonna lie, it didn't overly interest me, so I was kind of a little relieved. Kind of like, I would like to try something else, but I would hate to get set up somewhere and then realize that, oh, I absolutely fucking hate this, or I just think it's boring, or it feels like work to the umpteenth degree, but I guess that's just me. After that, I do some workout on my core while I start listening to, I think it was Marcy Playground, I believe is the name of the group. I could be getting that wrong, but in my journal it says March Playground, and I know that's not correct, so I'm guessing right now that it's Marcy Playground, I hope. I think that's what it is. And, man, I'm still not a fan of working out my core on the floor. That also rhymed. I guess this is a rhythmic episode of the series here. That's pretty cool. After this, Richard texts me and says he is bar crawling. I guess I put that in twice. I don't know why. It's like 2 differently worded sections where I just mentioned the same thing. I do respond to him. I think this is where I respond, yeah. Let him know that I'm absolutely down, and whatever the move is, I'll be there for it. Next entry is at 12:10 a.m. I I waste so much time, I think just on my phone, I'm guessing, until I read yet another chapter of Harvest. This one's actually a pretty good one. Didn't write down what happened in it, so must not have been too good. God damn it, Fulcrum. After this, I play a few minutes of Bioshock 2, but I'm not feeling it, so I put the controller down and watch an episode of Mad Men. I think it looks like I watched 2 episodes. Nice. Before I head off to bed. Wait. No, neither. I don't think I finished a single episode. I actually swapped over to Oz because Mad Men was buffering too much. But yes, like I said, I head off to bed. That is it for Tuesday, March 11th. We are going to be moving on here to Set 7, Day 6. At 3:30 p.m., I wake up from a dream. Interesting little dream. I think this is one where I realized I was late for work, but nobody from work called me and told me that I was late, so I was kind of confused as to what I should do, if I should just show up, or if I should call in and be like, hey, was I supposed to show up, or did you need me, or what's happening right now? Weird little dream, didn't matter too much. I like a lot of my other dreams a lot more, I can't lie. After this, I shit, shower, and brush my teeth, the old triple whammy. And then I get dressed for work and clock in. Richard is there, and he talks a bit about the bar crawl to me, gives me some more information about how it's going to work. He also lets me know to keep Benjamin out of the loop, because his friend group, I guess, is nonplussed with Benjamin's presence, unfortunately. I can understand their feelings, though. Being his coworker is a little bit taxing. Next entry here is at 4:20 p.m. I clock off of work and I skip them all yet again. Holy shit, what a lazy fuck. Next entry is at 7:55 p.m. I get home and listen to the Morning Somewhere podcast, as well as the Fuckface/Regulation podcast. Go listen to those again. Shout out. While stretching, I'm guessing my legs and maybe my arms and tummy. I don't know. After this, I watched 2 episodes of Mad Men while working on my arms. Okay, I was stretching my arms mainly, I would assume. And then I head to trivia night with my parents. They've actually asked me. Oh god, I hit the pop filter. Sorry guys, that was loud and annoying. They've asked me, I want to say, over the past 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 even. They've asked me like every other week, every 3 weeks, like, hey, you want to go out to trivia tonight? We're doing trivia again. Most of the time, I'm just a sad little bitch. And I'm just like, no, I'd rather sit at home and watch my shows and read my books and listen to my music and listen to my podcasts and watch my movies. But this night I was like, yes, I'm gonna finally get out and do some trivia. Hell yeah. At 10:05 p.m. is my next entry. My mom recommended I watch Office Space on the drive back from trivia. I hit the pop filter again. So naturally, I watch it as soon as we get back home. Yeah, it was pretty funny. 8 out of 10. I do like Office Space. 11:35 p.m. is the entry for that rating. I have a little question mark for this next entry's time. Watch another episode of Mad Men before listening to the Morning Somewhere podcast and stretching my legs out. I realized a little bit of a tangent here. Back in, I think, February of 2020, or February of 2021, I got COVID, and I think I lost like 60 or 65 pounds while I had COVID, or not while I had it, but the first week I lost my appetite, and I lost like 10 or 20 pounds. Then after that, the next week I lost, like, I think maybe another 10 or 20, and the week after, kind of the same thing. My stomach just shrunk from the initial disease, I think, and it was interesting because I was always I was always above at least 200 pounds. And I'm like, I'll out myself. I'm like 6'1". I think somewhere between 6'1" and 6'2", so I was definitely overweight. I never work out or buff myself out, or you never used to before. Well, I guess this podcast. What the fuck? Yeah, I was always kind of a chubby dude. Previously, not like super obese, but I had a little bit of a package behind my figure, I suppose. Yeah, like I said, nothing necessarily that I couldn't hide with a good wardrobe. I feel like I was able to cover it up pretty nicely with my choices of hoodies or jackets or whatnot. But yeah. Where did this tangent come from? I was losing weight, and I don't know. I can't remember where I was going with that tangent, so I'm just gonna... Yeah, I was trying to pad for time, because this is gonna be, I think, the shortest episode. Looks like, unless I can cook up a little bit here in the last day of entries, but I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna straight shoot, go for the shortest ep. Next day is today, the day I'm recording this, Thursday, March 13th. First entry is 9 a.m. I wake up feeling fresh and ready for the podcast later in the day. That's going to change. I go ahead and shit and brush my teeth. After this 10:05 a.m., I change for work and clock in. Dude, Anna gets on my fucking nerves throughout the day. I think I only work with her for 3 hours, but man, she makes me angrier than I think I've been at her for the past like 2 or 3 weeks combined. I don't know, she's just always in the way. And thank goodness, I never like lash out or say anything. I'm always very nice. I'm just like, yes, very patient. Wait for her to get out of the way, and I'm like, no problem. Not a problem to me. She's like, sorry, I'm in your way. I never try and lash out. That's just a very unbecoming, I think. But man, she was fucking pissing me off today, getting on my damn nerves. What a fucking vile cunt. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Anna. That one came from the soul. Wow. That's honestly worse. I shouldn't have said that either. I'm gonna move on now. 3:20 p.m. I praise the Lord when Anna clocks off. This is getting worse. I'm gonna go ahead and move on again. 4:40 p.m. Guess what? I skipped the mall yet again because the outfit I packed is honestly too hot for the day that I was experiencing. You know, it's still, I guess the first half of March technically, but it usually doesn't get this warm this quickly. Man, it's nice out. It was like, I think somewhere between 60 and 70 today. It was nice. I had a whole jacket, and the shirt I had planned kind of coincided with the jacket, and I didn't want to wear the jacket because it was too warm out, and now I'm getting too introspective into my wardrobe choices. So I'm going to move on yet again. I head back home to listen to some morning somewhere, and Jack gives me a call, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I have nothing fucking planned for tonight. I'm just probably going to find some kind of show or movie or podcast or some other random outlet to waste my time with, book maybe. And he was like, man, I have nothing planned either. Do you want to watch Spy Kids 2 with me? And I was like, oh my god, that sounds like a lot of fun. Spy Kids 2, definitely the one that I remember the most, I think. Still haven't rewatched Spy Kids 3. We have planned to do that at some point in the near future, next week or two, if I had to guess. Hopefully. But yeah, Spy Kids 2, it's probably, I think it's going to be the one that I have remembered the most about. After this, next entry is 6:05 p.m. Cut my core workout, off by 20 minutes early again, because I just, screw it, man, and I hate it, and I want to fucking cover it in gasoline and light it on fire, and then just piss on it to put out the fire, and then light it on fire again with another batch of gasoline. I know I'm not doing myself any favors, just being a little whiny baby about it, but I don't know, man. I don't like it. I'd rather just watch a show and work my arms out, but I know I should probably work on both, because it's nice to spread it out and give each group time to rest, each muscle group, a day of recovery while we were working on the other one. At 10:15 p.m. I get a message from Jack saying he's ready to watch Spy Kids with me. I let him know that I am grabbing snacks and getting a drink, but secretly, I'm actually getting high. Sorry about that, guys. I did a little white lie to him, just to, it's an enjoyment enhancer is how I would describe the feeling. So I feel like it's not wasted, right? After this, I watch the Spy Kids 2 movie with Jack, and man, it's like a 7.5. It's still good. It's a childhood memory from ages old. After this, I trade some music while talking with Jack in the Discord chat before we both hop out, and I'm not gonna lie, for like 40 minutes I just decompress while sitting on my bed and listening to Morning Somewhere before we move on to our current regularly scheduled program, which is the recording of this week's Resident Bummer episode. If you forgot, it's episode 7, the 8th total episode of Resident Bummer. And, well, I guess it's that time again to say goodbye to every single nobody listening to this right now. I don't even know how to phrase that, so I'm just going to leave it like that and move on to the next point here. Yeah, Fulcrum's got to go, and then just waste some more time doing probably nothing, probably sitting in his little Discord server by himself, maybe, or I don't know, maybe watching an episode of a show, or who knows. I don't, not yet at least. Week in review, man, I'm sitting here with my eyes closed, trying to think of a single thing that I just talked about in today's episode, and Spy Kids 2, I watched that. What else? I went to church, but that was in last week's episode. Alright, week's review is Spy Kids 2. Sounds good. Moving on, I'll say thank you, even though nobody is listening to it or wants to hear it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for listening. And, guess what? I do have a question for you. Am I really making a podcast? Or am I just jerking off?